Oh, hey guys. Sorry. Welcome back to Wednesday Live. Sorry if I look a little sick. I have a cold. I was about to not go live, but I always enjoy these live videos. So, it's Wednesday once again. I haven't posted the news. Same reason. I had a pretty bad cold and just didn't have the energy to do anything. So I've been taking care and resting and prepping for the darkroom. It's gonna be holidays tomorrow and next day. So today is like a Friday, even though it's a Wednesday. And I hope that this weekend maybe I can show you guys the darkroom and how it's looking. I tried the OBS software, but I haven't been able to test it out probably. So next time I hope to be able to share screen and show you guys pictures of the darkroom and maybe some more. But as always, any questions you guys have, let me know. Haven't had any emails this week asking me any specifics. So just ask whatever you feel like and I'll go into it. I announced last week there would be some news. Things have been postponed because of sickness, so I hope to get it out later this week or maybe beginning of next week. News will be back next week too, and everything just like it usually is. Hi Pedro, the health improvements. Yeah, it's not easy when you get this cold weather. But yeah, everything's been very slow as I haven't made many videos. News-wise, I haven't seen anything worthy. The Yashica had an announcement. I don't think it's even worth mentioning it because this is a film photography channel and that camera is not anything to do with film. And apart from that, I had a workshop last week. Got to shoot the Bronica GS1. I managed to not only do multiple exposures in the first shot, because I guess I had been fiddling around with the camera and I had the multi-exposure on and shot like 3 or 4 shots on the first picture. But the camera manages really well. It focuses closer than everyone says. I don't know if I'm getting different impression or people are coming from the RZ, and of course you can focus real close with the bellows, but the Mamiya GS1 feels like a great 6x7 that's not too big. Yeah, Pedro, I would go to Portugal. This weekend here, it's gonna be extremely nice. So yeah, it's that autumn weather that you get like cold breeze and you get sick like I got sick. But yeah, the GS1 I found extremely portable to be 6x7. I have the prism on it, so it's no problem to turn around and shoot vertical portrait mode. It looks like a Hasselblad size, basically. I will do a review and I'll compare it to the Hasselblad and the Mamiya RZ. Also getting in the mail a Mamiya RB, which is a camera I've never wanted to buy, not because I don't like it, just because I've always had the RZ. But so RB popped on eBay for pennies, and I did one of those low bids just thinking, you'll never get it. And I guess I was wrong, and I won. So an RB is on its way. Yeah, Mia. I can never say the name. Yeah, nature always wins. So yeah, pretty sick. Laya Hoop says, hey man, you have a G2, right? Do you think it's worth the price over the G1? I've always heard the autofocus is a little wonky. How do you feel about it? I do have a G2. Actually, let me bring it over. It's over here. How is it over the G1? I've only had the G1 in my hand. I haven't used it properly, but I will have a unit to test against the G2. I want to test it thoroughly. I don't want to just grab it and shoot one roll and say, oh yeah, look, comprehensive review of the G1 versus the G2. But I shot the G2 all summer, And if the G2's autofocus is better than the G1, then the G1 has to be so bad, because the G2's autofocus is so wonky. And I'm not saying it's bad, it's just wonky. It works weird. Well, it doesn't work weird. It's just one of those first autofocus, and I mean AF, because people say I say autofocus like out of focus. And basically, I use the back button to pre-focus, and you have to really make sure that you're getting the right focus. If not, it'll just shoot away. So if you think it's weird, you're gonna be like looking at things, then it's one of those autofocus that you would have to not shoot through glass. You can't shoot reflections. You can't shoot into the water, because it's one of the, I think it's infrared or similar. But the G1, I would say, I mean, the G2s, you get the hang of it after a while. You have to shoot quite a bit of it to get used to it, and you still will get a few shots. I think my first roll, I got maybe 8 frames that were totally out of focus. Because, and it's not only a little bit, it just goes all the way out. So if you're shooting a close-up, you'll go infinite and focus the background. And I think the G1 probably works similar. I heard that the G1 focuses on certain lines and the G2 on both lines. You can read those online reviews. But I mean, the G1 is also so cheap. So I always get tempted, like, how cheap could it be? Like, the G1 goes for like $150 on Japan. Like, I mean, for $150, if it shoots, I'm happy with it. You will never be able to shoot manual focus, not because you can't, just because it's so weird to shoot manual focus that you'll just hate yourself. And I've tried it. I still haven't seen the results, but I'll let you guys know. But the G1, it's also a little bigger. The things on the dials and stuff are a little different. But if you really want to get one, get the G1, test it out. And if you don't like it, sell the G1 and just put a bit more cash, get the G2. Might as well try it. But I will do a little review on those two so you guys can see what I think. Hey, Azrael, nice to see you here. But yeah, the G2. I took it all summer, shot all my summer holidays on the G2. And I'm pretty confident at 10% is going to be out of focus. And that I took my time to compose and to shoot. Yeah, basically that. It's still, you can't get it properly. I mean, it's just, it's an interesting camera. I love shooting manual focus. I have to say that after shooting this. I like taking control of my pictures. I feel out of control when I shoot the G2. Michael Diblitsek says, what's your view on the new Yashica? What's my view? I guess they've hit the target because they totally raised like 450% of their Kickstarter in the day. It's really not my target. I would never invest even 10 euros or $10 for that kind of camera. The preloaded presets like Digifilm, I mean, is, I don't know how to say it. Like, it just doesn't fulfill my needs in any way possible. Like, no way. I actually see more, how do you say it? I would see more of a temptation to buy a 15-year-old point and shoot that still works and shoot just for those wonky results like the old cell phones. Oh, Dibley check. Okay. Thank you, Michael. I'm really bad at names. I'd rather just get a point and shoot, an old one. And it's just, I don't know. I don't like the whole Yashica. I had hopes, very little hopes. I saw Bellamy from Japan Camera Hunters saying, like, guys, don't get your hopes up. It's not going to be. But I still had a small hope maybe they would make something interesting, even if it was digital, something interesting. But no, I don't like it. I won't say any strong words or curse against it. That's something forums are for and Facebook people are for. But I will never buy it, and I doubt I'll ever use it. That's what I would say. And I hope someone, I was saying that on Twitter today to someone, I hope someone will one day make a camera, film camera, that we will all be proud to use and we will all like. Impossible had the i1, which worked with a phone. Sorry, but that to me was a fail. I don't want to go out with my phone to shoot pictures of my kids. I like just taking a camera and enjoying the time. Then we had the new Polaroid camera. I think is a good camera. I think it does what it was supposed to do. It's cheap, it's easy, and no phone required. Bellamy's point and shoot, they said something about an app. I just don't understand, why do I want an app for my film camera? I already have enough apps that I dislike on my phone to have more. But yeah, I really hope someone comes out with a new film camera that we all can be excited about and proud of to use. I hope Bellamy does it, and if not, someone else. We'll see what comes, because then there's the Ponf camera. If you guys haven't heard, it's called PONF, and it's supposed to be a modular camera that will have a module for film and a module for digital, and another camera that I don't see a need for myself. Like if I want to shoot digital, I would just grab a digital camera. When I want to shoot film, I'll grab a film camera. I don't see how a hybrid will be good at both things and not fail at both terribly. But I guess we'll see. I'm excited to see what's coming up. Jacob from Germany, if I'm not wrong. Do you know the Italian camera? Are the related new large format produced from Italy? Yes, Jacob. You're welcome, Michael. Sorry, you're not gonna get me cursing or anything like that. I'm not a big fan of saying very bad things about certain products. Jacob, the Italian camera is Ghibellini's camera. It's made by Ghibellini in Italy. I do know about it. I mentioned it in the news, I think like maybe 6 months ago. There wasn't much going on. They're affordable. They're 3D printed, which is something, I don't know, I would say on a scale of materials for a large format camera, top two would be premium wood and metal. Then after that, I would go to maybe not premium wood, maybe some cheaper wood, but it's also good. Then from there, I say Intrepid is there with their plywood. But then that 3D, everything I've seen 3D is not up to what I expect it to be, especially for a camera. I'm not saying it's bad. I have not tested it myself. I do want to test it myself, and I actually want to go to Italy and meet Ghibellini and check his workshop and give you guys a scene of what they're doing, what they're working towards, and all this. But I don't know. The 3D just feels. I want to have it in my hand. I want to touch it right. I want to bend it. I want to see how it flexes. I want to see how it does with, use and bolts. Go in and out and screw and unscrew. It's plastic. I don't know. I work with wood. I'm used to wood. I like wood, and I like metal. My Cinar is all metal, and it's awesome. So that's kind of like, I can't say I don't like it. I just want to see it more. Tim says, found out Fuji is gonna get rid of Acros in 4x5, and now I'm sad. Thoughts or suggestions on 100 speed film? Any worries about Velvia? Again, Tim, I mentioned on the news that Acros was going down. They said 2019, which is a ridiculous estimate to say it's going to be away in 2019. If you're a big fan of Acros, you either really like the T grain. So I would say suggestions would be T-Max 100 and Delta 100. If you love the reciprocity, go for T-Max 100. It supposedly has really good reciprocity. Any worries about Velvia? I think we all are worried about Fuji at this point. They never let any hints of what's happening. They just dropped the bomb. We're gone. We're stopping this film. I think this is the first time they've said they're stopping a film so far ahead with Acros 4x5. I would be worried about Acros in smaller formats, 35 and 120. And I would be concerned about Velvia. I'm not a big fan of stocking, but I would, every time you buy a box, get an extra one. And every time you use one, you get another two, and do it exponentially and see how much you can save. That way you're ready if they ever drop it. It just Velvia film doesn't, it freezes well, but it doesn't do well if you don't freeze it. TB Photo says, Pomp, that was right. The modular camera, yeah, that's something I'm interested to see what they do. Maybe the modules will get better and it'll be great and they'll be affordable. Michael says, I just wanted your views, Nico. I'm old school 57, so don't get into rubbishing or attacking others for their views. Yeah, I'm not into that. It used to be called education. Yeah, I don't like saying bad things about things. People try to do their best, and I try to do my best. Pedro says a Yashica Electro with manual speeds would be the best, but digital with presets, bad idea for me. Oh, for me too, but there's a lot of people that liked it. So, and it's cheap. I mean, 150 bucks, you can just buy it to like have it as a toy camera. I mean, the Lomo LCA is 280 bucks, something like that. But it's also kind of like toyish. I'm not a big fan. I've had one and I never got to shoot it, so I want to get another one and test it out. Jacob says it looks at least good on the pictures, quite good. Jacob, yeah, it does look good, but remember, Italian people make awesome looking products because they're really good designers and they have a really good aesthetic for things. But not always they could be the best, you know what I mean? Italian cars and certain things like that. But I haven't tested it out, and I am going to test it out. And it's going to be on this channel. Just can't say exactly when. But I will be getting one of those Italian cameras to test and give you my honest review. And I will beat it up. So I won't just, you know, take it carefully and be careful with it. And I want to use it. I want to show you guys how it works and how it withstands good use. Lutz says, hey Nico, do you have experience with the Bronica ETR series? I'm asking myself if they're worth, because there are a lot of sets in the market and they're quite cheap. For starting to try out 645 format, better choice than the Mamiya 645. 645 I think is one of the best formats to start. People often overlook the 6x45 because they looks kind of like 35, so they go straight to something so different, like, you know, 6x6 or 6x7. But 6x45 is a really good format. It's like 2-point-something times bigger than 35. You're going to get that depth of field of medium format. You're going to get more frames per shot, per roll, sorry. You're going to get lenses that are good and cheap. The Mamiya, the Pentax, the Bronicas are extremely good and cheap. Why is the Bronica so cheap? Because it was the cheapest back in the day. And a lot of wedding photographers, communion photographers, baptism photographers, at least here in Spain, bought Bronicas, and they had 2 and 3 bodies, and they shot a ton of pictures with them. So they are out in the market. You can get a Bronica ETR for like around 150 to 200 euros here in Spain. And but I can assure they won't need any repairing. They are electronic, so you got to be aware that maybe one day they'll fail. But they are extremely good bang for the buck. So if you're thinking about an ETR, go for it. They're awesome. Do notice that the latest lenses for the ETR are the ones that are marked PE, like P for Portugal and E for England. So those marked PE are the newest, have the better coatings, and you'll get sharper and more contrasty negatives than from older versions, even though it's probably not a big difference. So yeah, I say go for it. Mamiya 645 are awesome too. I have the Super Mamiya 645. It just felt so plasticky, but I had a Bronica here till like 3 weeks ago, and it's awesome. Michael says, I'm a huge fan of Adox film. and buy and sell all the Silvermax and CMS20 that I can find when I can, as well as their developers. Any news on what's happening with them at the moment? I don't have any news, but same thing as the Italian camera. I hope to visit Addox and give you guys the update on what's happening. I will actually write them and ask them about that because it's been a while and I have it as favorites for the news, but I haven't been asking, you know. I'll knock on their door and ask them what's going on, because they did buy the Ilford, Switzerland plant, and they should be, you know, producing film there already. Green Darkroom, hey, joining, nice to see you. Did I get the 11x14? No, I'm sorry, man. I just can't afford to buy any more stuff this month. I've done way too much. So I haven't. I really haven't. I should, but I haven't. I'm pretty sure I have a friend that bought it, so maybe it'll go to good hands. One day, I'll try to get 11x14 Ektachrome when they make it again. Two Stone says 6x45 is, I don't know, some numbers. 6x7, 35. 6x7 makes an 8x10 print. 6x45 makes an 8x10 print. It's a good format. He's just doing the square millimeters per format. Just so reference, 6x45 is 2,352 square millimeters. And the 35 is 864. So yeah, 6x45 is almost 3 times bigger than 35. Pedro says, in relation to the question the other day, Kodak HC110 and photo paper, you know the delusion and the time of developing. That's a good question that you should have asked me so I could have researched. But let me see, HC110 paper developer. And I know it used to be used, I think it was in H. I have a friend that used it. It's being said that you can use Delusion A, although it would be expensive and has limited paper capacity. Came up in the thread, boom, 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 boom. Nothing there. I will have to research that. But I have a friend that used 2 developers. I think Rodinal and then HC110. I would have to read it up. But I'll ask my friend and let you guys know. Let me see. Whoop. Tim, Addox, thought about trying their 12 ISO 4x5, but I don't think I'm good enough. Yeah, I want to try that stuff one day. I can't wait to finish the darkroom and get it ready. Michael, yeah, that I will keep you guys updated. I want to start being I started the news, I was a bit more proactive, asking brands like, hey, give me news updates and stuff. And I think no brand has gone through. And I have to try to pursue and keep on knocking on doors weekly and asking about news and things that they might have to say. Jacob says, understood and agree. I maybe order 1 4x5 camera of them. Tomorrow I expect a new Chamonix H1 arrives. Then I decide if Italian camera is still an option. You're gonna love the H1. I sent one to a friend in Madrid the other day, and I really like it. It's a fun camera. Green Darkroom says it was pretty expensive. I'm sure it will go to good hands. That's the Green Darkroom sent me a link for a bunch of 11x14 stuff. If you guys don't know, I have a 11x14 Chamonix, and color happens to be one of the craziest things to find in 11x14. It does happen. Keith Canham makes the order, but every time the order comes by, if you don't know how it works, Keith Canham has like a list of people. So when there's enough people interested in a certain film and emulsion and size, he will write everyone and say, hey guys, there's going to be an order of T-Max 400 in 5x7 or whatever. And when everyone says agrees to a certain amount of film, he charges people and then he orders it from Kodak. But every time I'm listed for 11x14 Portra, and every time he reaches the top, it's someone that buys the whole order in one guy. So he writes me and always says, you've got a week to get all the film, to get as much film as you want, but the box is so expensive that I never have that kind of money laying around. If he gave me like a month and a half, I would sell something. I would, I don't know, find some way to fund it. But it's always fast and expensive, or not expensive, but more expensive than I can afford at the moment. So I always end up missing that window of opportunity. It happens like every 2 years. So I hope the next time, which will be in a year and a half, I'll be ready. But yeah, any questions, guys, let me know. I'm still here. But yeah, I did a survey yesterday on Instagram. And for those who are gonna watch this, which I get like around 200 views, which I think is amazing because this is an hour-long stream and I appreciate you guys watching. But asking if someone would like to see a new film-based, film photography-based website. And I got like 100 replies on Instagram. Now you can do polls, so you can ask a question and get yes, no, blue or red or whatever, 2 options. And I got like 95% yes and a 5% no. And I've also asked and done research on what are the favorite websites. So if you guys want to list or send me emails or information of websites you enjoy, I'm trying to work on doing something new. And I think it's going to be pretty interesting. At least it will be for me. And I hope to fulfill you guys with the information that you like reading and watching. Pedro says there will always be new websites about film photography. What is it going to be? Pedro, it's still kind of like I'm defining what it's going to be all about, but I think it's going to be interesting. Pedro has a website too about film called, Pedro, try to link it below. Don't put .com or it'll block it, but it's Love Film Photography or Film Photography Love.wordpress or something like it. Pedro takes care of it on Instagram. Let me check it out because I got him here. There we go. FilmLovePhotography.wordpress. And he's doing a great job, and I appreciate his effort. I know it's a lot of work. So let me just, you guys love photography.word. I'm slow at typing, guys, sorry. That's his website. Yeah, I can't say much about my new website, but I hope to be out. I'm gonna take it easy. I'm gonna come out in January 2018. That's when I'm gonna be officially open to everyone. Meanwhile, I'm working on it. TV, what do you see as the advantages, disadvantages of shooting slide film or over color negative? Any preference? You're welcome, Pedro. TV photo, slide film to me has the best color reproduction. Because color negative is very muted, it's very like, there's no extreme saturation. When we lost Portra, vivid color, VC, I lost that color. Ektar, sorry guys, doesn't cut it for me. I don't enjoy it. I know it's like the vivid option in color negative, but it just is all red. It's just, everything turns red so easily. So I find slide film to be amazing for vivid color. It scans really well, and there's a good thing about slides that there's not about color negative is you can see what your result is. You put it on the light table, you look at your film and you see if you did anything wrong to developing it or exposing it. If you misfocus, anything like that, you're gonna see it on your light table, just fast against the window, anything like that. And that's a huge benefit because when you scan it, you know how to make it look like what it's supposed to be on the negative. when you're using on the positive, sorry, when you're doing color negative, I think the skin tones are so natural and nice. They're also soothing because like slide, you'll get like the redness if you have red on your cheeks, or you'll look like white and pale if you're super white and pale. But color negative, you overexpose just a tad, and it gives you like those skin tones that are just pleasing. And when you scan color negative, you can't see if you're doing a right job. It's the scanner interpreting that orange mask and removing it and saying, that's the color I think this should be like. And I hate that. I hate it, hate it, hate it. Scanning only works well, like you can really do it well with slides because you can see it. Color negative is so hard to get it right. And labs do a great job because they have great machines, but that's what I would say. Another huge disadvantage for slide to me is you can't print without scanning, and that just kills it. But color negative is for me because I go into the darkroom and I print it. But I will be shooting more slide because I want to start doing a few projects with it. Jacob says, did you ever check your negatives with a densitometer? I hope this is the right expression in English. It is. Jacob, I actually have 3 densitometers and I still haven't used one. So it's a huge subject that I want to take care of. I really want to learn how to use it properly. I want to learn how to dial my film speed properly, get the negatives I want for the processes I want. Today I was talking on the phone with a friend, a new friend here in town that is a palladium expert, happens to be, that lives 5 minutes away from me. So for that kind of stuff, I think it's awesome to have a densitometer. So I will be using a densitometer for that. I have a brand new Hayland densitometer. I have a secondhand, I can't remember the name, but it's like the biggest brand, at least the one you see the most on photography. And then I have like a handheld one. So I will be comparing them to my film, how I develop and such, and what kind of negatives you want to produce to, depending on what process. As you know, if you're doing alternative processes like cyanotype, zeotype, palladium, and all these things, which are amazing carbon transfer, you need negatives that have a certain, level of density. And I want to learn that. But Jacob, right now, I am all questions more than answers. So sorry. TV photo, thanks. I'm glad you like the answer. But yeah, slide film versus color negative. It's saturation versus not so saturated. Scanning is awesome on slide. Scanning is not so awesome on color negative, at least not for me. In the lab it is. And yeah, Jacob, if you need help with Highland, I actually have direct contact with them. So let me know. You can write me an email or whatnot, and I'll help you out. I have one of his brand new in a box. Haven't had time to use it. Pedro says, but in the darkroom, it's also possible to change the colors of the color negatives. More colder, more warmer. This is something I can't confirm 100%, but I'm pretty sure you really can't touch much in the darkroom. You kind of stuck to with whatever you get. So that's why I stopped using expired film, because I could see my negatives were expired, and when I printed them on darkroom paper, I could see it, and that made me go away from expired. But yeah, you can't really fix colder or warmer. Yeah, you can add like blue and make it bluish, but everything's gonna blue. And you can make it yellowish and everything will be yellow. I have a picture around here. Let me get it quickly, guys. Sorry. Okay, Sorry for going and fetching that. Hi, Hogarth. Nice to see you here. Okay, so let me see if I can see this. I don't see myself. So this is a picture of my wife. And this is, I don't want to get any reflections. Let me see, because there's a lag. This is done in the darkroom. This is a Hasselblad shot on color negative. And you can see there's a lot of yellow tint to it. But it was sunset. So there was a lot of yellow. But if you try to fix this, it's not so easy to fix. You can't just remove the yellow because there was a yellow light. So if I added blue, it would just make everything wonky and bluish. So printing color film on color paper in the darkroom is not as easy as, oh yeah, let me just correct the color balance. Like if you were shooting raw, you're screwed to what you shot and the light you had. That's why the Cinestill is fun. That's why people use color gels for color correcting in cinematography and photography, even though nowadays no one really does. But yeah, that's why. So this is a color print, my wife at the beach years ago. Sorry, just wanted to bring that over so you guys could see. Let me see. Yeah, Pedro, with a color head enlarger. That was done in my, I had a Chrome Mega 4x5 color head. That's what I printed with that. And I have more around here. Just you guys have seen them, but I'll make more. I'm gonna be making new work. I'm emptying my darkroom and I found boxes and boxes of color film, color paper. So you guys will get to see it. But yeah, if you want to change the, the color temperature of your shots, you need filters. You can't just do it in the enlarger so easily. It's really hard. And then, I don't know, I'll tell you guys when the darkroom's built and the Jobo's in there and everything's there, I'll show you how to do it. And let's see what possibilities we have with that paper. Today I basically spent the day trying to remove the Jobo from my darkroom, because in the darkroom I have been using, that I have a darkroom tour video on YouTube. It was built by the Jobo went first and everything else went behind. So to get to the Jobo, I had to disassemble everything: the doors, the vents, the enlarger, the table where the enlarger was, the whole shelves and everything around the Jobo. So now it's all a big hole and the Jobo is ready to get out, taken to the new location. So I hope that maybe in like 10 days the Jobo will be installed and I'll start finishing. Tomorrow I'm gonna go finish as much as I can of the darkroom. So I'll post some pictures on social media or whatever. I don't know if you guys, because you guys, Azrael's still around. I don't know if Azrael's still around. I can't see. I can see how many people are watching, but not who's watching. Blur 101, a quarter of a century ago, more, oops, I worked in a professional lab and our most competent C41 RA4 clients all used color temperature meters and Radon filters all the time. Perfection is not trivial. Exactly. Thanks for jumping in, Blur. I've seen, there's a YouTube tutorial of an architectural photographer that's amazingly interesting. And this guy shot commercial architecture when there was nothing else but film. And he shot 4x5, 5x7, 8x10 and stuff like that. And the way he expressed the work and how they worked, it was amazing. He was doing like hotel photography and real estate. And it was crazy how they used it. I mean, the filtering the sun, building a sun when there was no sun. The guy it's amazing. I wish I could find it. I have it somewhere saved. And the day I find it, I'll post it. But it's amazing. I think color photography has never been, I think, what it was after digital came in, and you can just move bars up and down. But it's pretty cool how they used to do it. And I wish I would learn from the old school guys. Tim says, speaking of darkrooms, thoughts on using a color head as a multigrade filter versus actual filters. I have a color head, but I'm thinking of grabbing the Ilford under lens filter for accuracy. Okay, so I have a color head, and I've only printed with that color head to achieve multi-grade, results on paper. So I can't say it's better or worse, but I think it works just fine. I think start with that. If you find a cheap set of the Ilford under the lens filters, you can go for it. I haven't done that because some of my lenses are so big I can't use it because I have the big lens for 8x10 and stuff like that. So I'm going with a color filtering. I am concerned the day the color filters fade enough that they lose strength. I do know my larger is still being built in China, and I hope to find a set of the color filters before it's too late. So I guess I should get writing and ask them for that. But I think it should work fine. I can't guarantee. And I will be testing that out because now we're going to have 3 enlarged in our darkroom. Mine has a color head. My associate has a multi-grade head, and the other guy has a condenser head. So we're going to do a bit of everything. Jacob says, the positive aspect of Halen is that it's self-calibrated. Yeah. And it comes with a little strip so you can recalibrate it if you need it. So it is pretty nice. And he's got other benefits. So you can change the light source so you can get like bigger or smaller spot metering or bigger metering. It also has the reflective so you can read paper and the darker zones and stuff. Highland is the brand to go for darkroom accessories. You had a phone conversation with Mr. Halen. He's a very nice and competent guy. I met him in person in Photokina. I had dinner with him, and I have to say he's an amazing human being, really generous and very smart. And if you do talk to him again, say you talk to Nicolas Yacera, and he'll be happy to hear if he remembers. But I work with him here in Spain, and even though there's not a lot of big community for darkroom specialized tools, sadly. Blur says dichroic filters should last a seriously long time. Surely, I surely hope so. I'm not super concerned, but it is one of my concerns. Light bulbs and dichroic filters. Even though if I do end up running out of that, I will get a Highland LED light source for my 8x10, but that is around $5,000 or so, and that's going to take a long time to be able to convince myself I need something that expensive. Hogarth says, look at you all fancy with your million enlarges and 8,501 Jobos. Just a funny fact, guys. I'm in the darkroom with two partners, and between the 3 of us, that's why Hogarth is saying that, we have 7 Jobos. So I got to get rid of a few or put them in storage or something because we have too many. So yeah, I'm gonna keep 2 Jobos in the darkroom working. ATL 2200, which is automatic, which is amazing, and we'll be only doing black and white developing, and a CPP3, which is brand new to do color E6 RA4 processes. But that will be not stored all the time on the sink. It will go under. The sink is 4.3 meters long. So I hope there's enough space for everyone there. Blur says, Jobos probably breed in the dark. They probably do. Jacob says, I also own his TAS film processor. It's a great piece of gear. It is a great piece of gear. I actually want to get one of those TAS to use in the darkroom for certain things. And also it's pretty cool that you can travel with it because it's pretty small. At Photokina, I was with, I'm gonna say his name wrong and I'm gonna hate myself for it, but I think it's Wolfgang, who is the engineer that made it. And he made a live demonstration of how it works, and it was amazing. So it's pretty cool. Pedro says, give away some Jobo. I I should give away some Jobo, huh? I don't know how to give away a Jobo. Like, how do I ship that? I need like a container for it. Tariq says, once you're set up with your darkroom, I'll be visiting and bringing my 200 or so rolls of exposed film. Tariq, I have a friend that has like 1,000, so you can go in line with him and we can develop it. I also have probably around 200 to 300 rolls right now. Just gonna feed the Jobo, you know, just keep giving it. I'm making a dry cabinet because I can't buy any here. And I hope to be able to develop and dry film faster than it can be developed. So, you know, the cycle goes fast. Green Darkroom says, I asked KHB Photo sometime back for the Devere Dichro filters. I think they said about 30 per filter. I think you need 12 filters for the 1508, so that would be pretty expensive. I mean, it is expensive, but if I could make my enlarger look brand new for 360 euros, I think I could do it. I mean, it is worth a lot more brand new, and it's a lot of money secondhand still. So yeah, maybe one day. But the Vere is still being made in China, so I would try to go the China route and see if I can get those filters through China. Green Darkham says, I think my Dichro filters are still perfectly fine, and I think mine too. But yeah. Any other questions, guys? I'm just laughing at the amount of film I have, thinking about how much work it's going to be. But yeah, making a little dry cabinet. I was going to make the whole cabinet myself, and the other day I went to like the do-it-yourself store, and they had a cabinet that was pretty much sealed for 40 bucks, and I just got it. I'm going to put a vent, and I'm going to put some LED lights so I can see. I'm going to put different heights to different films, and I hope to make my dry cabinet as fast as possible. Harga says, what's a dichro filter? It's a color head filter. The dichroic filters are magenta, cyan, and I can't say their name. Magenta, cyan, and not blue. They're the three colors basically that you use for color printing, and the filters are called dichro filters. So that's what it is. Hogarth, you want me to send you my film or Tariq? Tariq has a Jobo. He just needs to do it. Tim says, I bet mine may be faded. Didn't think that was a thing, but the colors do seem more muted than what the Ilford filters look like in photos online. I would say, Tim, if you're concerned about being faded, just buy a Ilford set and just try it out. But buy it new. Don't buy it secondhand. Because secondhand, you don't know if it's 12, 20 years old, because they've been making the same thing for years. Harvard says, like my color head, exactly, like your color head. Yellow, Mamiya Press, thank you. Yellow, cyan, magenta, that's the one. Blur, a filter that works by interference rather than absorption. There you go, that's the lab guy's answer. Thank you, Blur. Tariq, lazy. Tariq, your kid's like, what, 10, 11? Give him pocket money for developing film. I would do it if I was his age. Instead of walking the dogs or, you know, babysitting, he can develop film. And you can give him like 50 cents per roll. He does like 50 rolls in an afternoon. He made 25 bucks. At his age, that's a lot of money. Hogger says, all of you can send me your film. I love developing film. Hogger, I would send you my film if I was in the States. Jacob says, me as well, but only my own. I'm lost with that answer. Tariq, 13 and 11, good idea. That's the thing, man. You got two kids, 13 and 11. That's a great age. 13, he's smart as a whip to be able, and 11 too, to develop film. I mean, just teach him. Make him put some music, turn the lights off, and be like, come on, guys, develop film. I should get my kids learning. Just his own film. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of developing other people's film. I've done it a few times. I don't like it. I don't take the pressure well. Blur says, I had one roll of film a month when I was 8-year-old. A 620 and a 6x9 brownie, 8 shots a month. There you go. It just, film was expensive. People say film's expensive today. I found it expensive when I was a teenager. I actually had to stop shooting because I couldn't afford it. It wasn't an option. It was dating girls or shooting film. You guys know the answer for that. I went for girls. And then I got a job and I could do both. But yeah, at that age, I remember I used to shoot T-Max 100 and the color negative film that the local store had. And it was the cheapest, worst film ever. It was like not even Kodak. It was like worse than Kodak, like the Kodak cheap films, but it worked. And slides, I loved slides. I should check what slide film I used to shoot. I'm curious now. I still have the negatives. I mean the positives. What do you think about the split grade printing darkroom, 00 grade and 5 grade? Pedro, it works really well. I've done it a few times. I just ran out of patience, and I know the darkroom is all about patience and enjoying it. But when I'm in the darkroom, I kind of like grab a negative, and on the light table, I can tell kind of sort of where I want to start off. And I do kind of a different split grade. I kind of like start at a certain grade, do a base exposure, and then I burn and dodge at different grades. I'll take it all the way to 5 if I need to burn in black, and maybe I'll turn it, 00 if I want to get some details on the whites. So I like it, but I just don't have the discipline every time. I just kind of go like shortcuts. Jacob says, it was just an answer on Hogwarts' proposal to developing all films of the world. Yeah, sorry. It's just sometimes between jumping conversations, I get lost. Sorry, guys. Plus, I read the comments because YouTube can't put these comments on the video after this live stream ends. I guess this is made for gamers, playing games and talking, whatever. But yeah, there's around 5 more minutes, guys. If you have any other questions, let me know. I received some film last week. I got a box of HP5, 100 sheets. First time I ever buy HP5 and 4x5. That was, I didn't know, I had never bought it before. And I hope to make a project with it. I have too many projects, but I do hope at you're eating ice cream at work. I'm actually ordering pizza and having ice cream today. You got a raise today. Congratulations, Hogarth. Hogarth and me talk a lot on social media, so that's why he's talking to me like if we were on Facebook right now. But yeah, I will be shooting a project, hopefully, of a photo book collector in my surroundings that lives around here and has a humongous amount of photo books. And she's a wonderful lady, and I want to shoot, hopefully, if she's okay with it, her collection and her life and how she lives surrounded by books, because it looks like, I'm not joking, guys, she has books on everywhere in her house, from the floor, on the shelves, on the sofas, everywhere there's books. And I want to kind of document that. It has a name when you kind of like collect compulsively, and you don't, but she's really nice, and I hope to make something out of it. Blur says, is there actually any actual definite news about the new Ektachrome, or is it a spoiler for Ferrania? There's actual definite news. The most definite news I've seen have been Kodak, the film industry, and I mean the film cinematography industry, showing a picture of a slide film with the clear base in front of their buildings, saying, new times ahead or something like that. I still bet that they're just waiting to building all these new labs and making all this whole cinematography thing properly before they announced the film, the Super 8, which is what they were really going for. And the developing all included. Once again, the whole you shoot, we do the rest. And they're waiting for that. I'm sure they almost have the film ready, or they have it ready, and they haven't done it yet because they're waiting for that. And the Super 8 and the Super 8 film, the Super 8 camera will all come out at the same time by the end of the year, maybe for Christmas. Jacob says, it must be going now. Oh, nice to see you, Jacob. See you. Thanks for joining. Amelia says, Bibliomaniac. Never heard of that expression. I guess that's what people keep the Bibles. That's what it sounds like. Tim says, I check Ferrania's site multiple times a day, hoping their store is open. Their Twitter feed is such a tease. Hope it opens soon. I'll see if I can get some information of when Ferrania's store might open again. Dave Bias usually joins us here sometimes, and maybe I can get some information for you guys for next week's and tell you when it will be open or not. Bibliomaniac. I had never heard of that name. In Spanish, it has a different name. Tariq says, I haven't pushed HP5. I know you do. Box speed, I'm currently doing 5 minutes AC 110. If I push one stop, how long do I need to add to the Jobo? I think, Tariq, I do like around 7.5, but let me check it out. I have to go to my notes, and I'll tell you what I do. HP5. Ooh. See, sorry guys, I'm just gonna look it up. I usually use the massive developing chart, and it has worked for me. 7:30, yep, 7 minutes 30 for one stop. Blur says, it was strange to me as cinematography never used day materials, always color neg. Are they expecting to do no color grading because of digital scanning, perhaps? I don't know. I think they're trying to really push the whole like project your video at home and stuff. I don't know. I really don't get the strategy for the Super 8 coming back, but we'll see. HP5 is well documented on the Ilford Harman website. Go with that data. Yeah, I usually do what they say, but it's 7:30 for me on mine. But I don't know, Tariq, you don't develop with HC 110, I think. So check it out. Oh, yeah, you do. Sorry, I read it and I missed it. So 7:30. You missed Spain. Sorry. Being digitalizing Super 8 film. We were just talking about that. Well, Pedro's already saying bye, and I think I should say bye. Thanks, guys, for joining once again. Sorry that I'm a little stuffy and sick and there was no news this week. I will try to catch up next week with a special video with more news and maybe announce those few surprises I have coming up soon. But yeah, thanks, guys. Good night for those who are in the nighttime, and for those not, enjoy the rest of the day. Bye. Let me see.